today we are continuing with chapter number 8 from the book A New Earth, The Discovery of the Inner Space. And this is a really special episode today because the quotes that I chose for today are the ones that I really practice almost every day. I really go back to, and it helps me really to suffer less and to be more connected to the inner space. And when I say inner space, this is so important for me to emphasize because most of us are controlled by our mind, the consistent thoughts in our mind, and we suffer so much. And when we go to the inner body, inner space, there is some calmness, there is some space. That's why I also really like to do a scan body and just to feel my body all over. So I want to start with a special quote that will start this whole podcast. Inner space arises whenever you let go of the need to emphasize your form identity. That need is of the ego. So when you want to be really calm, you want to be connected, there is some inner space calmness that is always there. If you're controlled by your mind, you don't have access to it almost. So there is some magic, I call it magic, but really if you go back to your body, let's say you had a fight with somebody, you have an argument, and it took so much of you and your mind's still thinking about it. Like happened to me maybe a little bit yesterday, My mind was really going, like I had some argument, little one. It wasn't really an argument, but my mind is always like overreacting. And my mind likes to do that. And so many thoughts and so many negative thoughts. And I know from my experience that if I go to my inner body, if I go to my inner space, there is some calmness. And every decision that comes from that space is a way better decision than any decision that I will make that comes from the ego. Let's say I want to continue to fight, or I want him to see that I'm right, even though maybe I'm not right, who knows. But I'm just saying, so I repeat, just to explain, so inner space, if you want to be calm in your life, to suffer less, this is what I mean when I talk about the inner space. And it arises whenever you let go also of the need to emphasize your form identity. And I will give examples. What is your form identity? So for example, I had a little bit, let's say we had a situation yesterday when we are right now in Kenya, Africa, and we were supposed to go somewhere with a driver. And then suddenly he decided that he doesn't want to go. Welcome to Africa. Welcome to Kenya. It was a bit, let's say, unpleasant, okay? Because we already packed our bags and everything was ready. And then suddenly we waited the whole day. And then suddenly, no. I decided to stay. I decided to, okay, so that's mean for us that we had to stay another night. Overall, it wasn't so bad, but my mind was in a frenzy a bit in the beginning but I have to emphasize also, Fabian, we talked about it yesterday, because I was eating really only fruits the same day, almost only fruits and vegetables raw. I was not so upset or angry as other times, you know what I mean? I could have recovered so quickly. Now, I'm not saying for people change your diet. I know it's very challenging. I did it because I suffer so much in my life. And I tried everything possible to lessen the suffering. And we talked about it, and it's so strange. When we eat cooked food, it's hard for us because we're not clean, we don't have so much energy. When you feel like you clean, you feel more connection to your body when you eat, for me, when you eat fruits and vegetables, because it's so easy for the body, it's so quick. And there is also health benefits, but we're not going there right now. So my biggest point, this is from the chapter number 8, to have a connection to the inner space, your inner body. So he said, and I'm going to continue to read, there is a ways where you can connect to your inner space if you don't emphasize your form identity. So I will give some examples, okay, to explain it even more. So there is ways in which people unconsciously try to emphasize their form identity. So one of them is demanding recognition for something they did or something you did. I can give immediately example for my job. I worked in the past in a big office, in a government office, and I remember that my boss, like, I wanted recognition. I just wanted recognition. I'm not saying it's a bad. I wanted recognition. Afterwards, I just wanted him even to give me some criticism or some review, so I can maybe improve, maybe change. Or this is why it was an internship. So I really wanted to learn, and I didn't get it from him. And it was really important for me to leave a good impression on him. So it was very scary also to come to him. It's a big boss, and come to him and tell him, listen, I want a review. I want you to tell me. But I couldn't. It just shows you how much I'm like, I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but how much I couldn't not say anything. So I just came to him one day and I told him I want to have a conversation. And I told him, I want you to give me a review. I want you to give me a feedback. And he understood, and he gave me feedback afterwards, but just like...
And you are satisfied?
I'm satisfied. But this is a different one, because we're talking about recognition. Let's say, Fabio, we have this podcast, okay? And we have millions of listeners, for example, okay? And we have to tell everybody, I have a podcast, I have millions of listeners, This is an ego thing, when you ask for recognition for something you did, I always remember when I was in school and I had a good friend. She was really smart. She was the smartest, I think, between us. But she never like emphasized this. She never talked about the grades, and I really liked it about her, and I always took it from her. When people ask me, for example, even if I got like a good grade or I got like good workplace or whatever, where do you work? I always try to, not to minimize, but I try not to like, yes, I'm working for this and this, and it took me a while, and my grades are like this and this. No, I always suffered when I was doing that, and as I was younger, I felt this is fake, this is not real. I don't know, and I stopped with that. But now when I read Eckhart Tolle, I completely understand this was the ego, the need for recognition. And the last example that I will give is you, Fabio, when you were a child and you got something from your teacher, right? You remember? And you went to your mother and you asked her, Mom, look what I got from the teacher, You just wanted recognition. This is like a small developing ego. What is your thoughts right now, Fabio? Are you with me right now? Are you in this world or you're in another dimension? Where are you right now?
I am in another dimension.
Where are you exactly?
I'm more near about psychedelic experience.
Okay, it sounds like it. Yeah, but
it's just this.
But you know why? How did it happen?
Yes, it's about to do some spiritual stuff around 4-6 a.m. in the morning.
So you woke up also this morning and you drank before the sunrise?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just this.
And what did you do else? You just woke up and drink and that's it?
And
meditate? Sitting with yourself? Okay. For how long? 10 minutes?
I don't know.
5 minutes? Okay. So this helps you to come into this morning with more good energies. You're more happy. Even like a child like kind of.
No, it's different. It's more nutritional stuff. It's more about to build the connection about you and yourself and your inner body.
We're talking about today about inner space and how to connect more to your inner space, which means how you can be more calm. You're not obsessed by your mind and your thoughts and the voice in your head. And we talked about it. You can be more connected to your inner space if you don't emphasize your form identity. And there is many ways, including, like I'm saying also for myself. This is why this episode is so important for me. Because this kind of quotes that I'm going to read are really good examples on how we emphasize our form identity. And when we emphasize our form identity, we are disconnecting from our inner space. So we talked a little bit about the need for recognition, but there is also another really interesting thing is trying to get attention by talking about your problems, the story of your illness. This is amazing. The desire to get attention, by talking about your problems. How many of us do that? Or about your
Yeah.
illness? Yeah.
You think it's good or no?
No. I think, let's say, there is
Because sometimes we talk about. Oh,
exactly,
okay.
exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Sometimes we have some issues here, of course, Kenya, Africa. There is challenges here, and we like to express, and actually it helps. It helps because both of us are a bit more conscious and aware, so it helps to calm down, and we're not obsessed by the ego. So this helps me. But I told you yesterday, if you were not conscious, Fabio, this yesterday will have been more difficult for me, you know, because my mind was a bit into this craziness, and because you were so calm and you didn't get into this drama, I was able also to disattach from this drama as well in a few minutes. That was such easy for me. But I tell you what, when I read this quote, I immediately thought about a friend of mine that always talked about her illness. She has some like not depression, but some kind of a mental illness, which I completely understand. It's not easy, but the desire always to talk about your problem and your illness, this is not good, you know. And Eckhart Tolle talks about it a lot. Maybe you have some issues, you know. Maybe something happened in your past. Absolutely, I'm not taking from it. But if you repeat it, okay, you this is the ego. You make yourself like a victimized identity. Maybe you were a victim of some people, but this is the ego. Ego is not always to look like big and important, but also people have an ego of a victim, you know. Some people harm me, you know, and this is also an ego.
Where come from? Why there is a victim? You're victim for feel the sense of guilt of other people. You want help.
I want. Oh, that's a good question. Do I want help? I don't think victim people like really wants help. Think about going to the therapist. You can go for 10 years and they just want to talk about their problems. I also was like this, exactly. And you just want to talk about your problems, and will always be a new problem, you know. And if you're attached really to your story, like the victim story, will be really hard for you to let go of it and eventually suffer less, you know. But why? It's the ego, Fabio. It's the madness of the humankind. It's a part of the evolution. This mind went too crazy right now in this time. So we will waken up and look at you and me, for example. I know for myself. My mind went over too much, okay? Was overreacting. I didn't have any choice but to change my habits. I became fruitarian, for example. Oh my God. I did so many other stuff. I'm talking right now in a podcast with you about really personal stuff, which I would never have done before, you know? So why? This is your answer, because this is the new stage for us. We will only have two options, as Eckhart Tolle says. Or we evolve, or we die, okay? I had no choice. You know, when sometimes you feel like you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. I have to do that, you know? I just have to do it.
You believe it's good or bad to have in this world psychologist? This works.
Oh, that's a good question. A beautiful question. Is it good to have a therapist, psychologist? Okay, so for a while, because
First I need to explain why, because I don't believe this.
You don't believe it's necessary.
For this reason, I ask you.
You don't believe in? Okay, so
I don't believe is improve this, because I think every person is responsible for their self.
That's so interesting, Fabio. But sometimes we need help. You know, sometimes you need help.
But you are only the one can help yourself.
You can only help yourself. That's true also. But I want to answer that because I thought about it 2 days ago. Really, very interesting. Because for a while I was a bit against. I was in a therapy for many years, and I really like it like Eckhart Tolle also talks about it. You can talk about your problems as much as you want. It will never end, you know. You need to do something different. But for example, Eckhart Tolle also was a therapist. So I will say like this: there is a the best thing that happened to me from all these therapists and all these treatments was the ability to express myself, to speak freely about my problems, and the other side is listening, and nothing happens. Nobody shoots me, nobody hurts me. I can just say whatever happened to me, and I'm not being judged. If you have a good therapist, you're not being judged. You know what I mean? So this is the best thing that happened to me from therapy. But for example, when close to minds tells me that they are going to therapy right now, it's a bit challenging for me because I'm not taking off anything of it. I think it's good to go only to conscience therapist, a person which not looking at them just to be with you for 5 years or 3 years, because many of us do that. We go for years on a therapy with somebody and we talk about our problems. But no, if you go to a really good one, there is a good one that I like. It's not like so much into Eckhart Tolle and all this, but he always, when a new patient come to him, he always ask him, okay, what do you need from me, okay? And let's set a deadline, okay, for us. We're not going to talk for years. Let's set a deadline for us, okay? How much time do we need to fix it, So I tell you what, but Fabio, this is not, I don't know what to tell you. This is like, I tell you, from a person who suffered so much, when I had a big depression, I was also like you. I thought, everybody's responsible for himself. Everybody can take care of himself. But no, that was too hard. That was really painful, Fabio. That was too much. People ends their life, People committed suicide. People hurt themselves, God forbid, I was not there, luckily. But I knew something is wrong. I knew this is I'm not able to. This is something way of my powers. Because the pain was so strong for me, I had no choice but to ask for help. And with all I asked for a big help. It wasn't like with all I didn't care about the shame, but it was too painful. There was no other way for me, no question even. I didn't share anyone with my pain because I thought I can handle, but it was too much. And I had no choice but to ask for help. So it can help. And many therapists today are aware of mindfulness and all these kind of practices and acceptance, which is really important. So they're aware of it. And for luckily, I had the opportunity to go to a therapist which believed in these principles as well, and it helped me so much, Fabio. And it was also a limited treatment. It wasn't for years. It wasn't easy even for me to end this treatment. But it was good because, you limit it. You don't go with it for the rest of your life. I had therapists for many years, and I was like, why? Just to talk about my problems? But on the other side, if you're a shy person and you don't share almost anything with anyone, therapy can be really nice, because then you can start to share. I look at you, Fabio, and you're 27, and you talk about masturbation or stuff or whatever, and it's so easy for you. You're not ashamed. You don't talk. You just share. It's wonderful for me. I was not able to do that so young. Yeah.
You think the psychologists also need help?
Hi, Fabio. This is the one. Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I do. Because you would not come to this place if you were not like. Usually, many of them are also like I guess the benefits of this profession. But yeah, I think so. They also yes. My sister is a psychologist, and she tells me everybody needs a therapy. Everybody needs a psychologist, and I was like, really? So
because you see, this person is very conscious. I trust this person, but maybe you are the psychologist of this person. Because when you do therapist and you talk, you are in the one and is a mirror.
So for your question,
so my question is, I believe this because if you don't need help, you don't spend the time for listen people.
Oh wow. Even if you get a lot of money for it, Fabio?
If you need money for listen people, you're not patient about the humanity.
Okay, so some of them are not patient. But I will tell you what, yes, you're right. But you know what? It's not only psychologists. I think any human being need this deep connection. When you just like, even if you tell me about your issues, but you do it from a conscious place, not just like just to rumble and romanize, just repeating yourself all the time. If you come really with deep problems, deep emotions, and you want to share, could be really healing experiment for both of you, experience for both of you, because it's a mirror, when you share and I'm conscious, you also get conscious a bit, and I can understand life also through you, I think everybody needs that connection.
We talked before about intelligential artificial. You think in the future there is no?
It was really interesting. We talk about it, and I also thought about Eckhart Tolle. Think about the AI that is Eckhart Tolle and just repeating. I thought to myself, in some ways it can help, because Eckhart Tolle also repeats itself as I do repeat myself. But I think deeply, the words are not important. The words are not important. It's the consciousness. It's the ability to give full attention to the other one, to the other side, I'm not sure that I'm doing it really well right now, Fabio, to be honest. But if you like to give the full attention, and I don't think AI can do that really, to be conscious, to not think while the other person talks, all of this kind of stuff, to be really present. So for your question, we will see. Who knows? But I don't see it. I think there is some stuff missing. It can help.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to continue. Okay, so we're talking about ways which people emphasize their form identity. So when you emphasize your form identity, you get far away from your inner space, your inner body. And when I say you go far away from that, or you disattach from that, you suffer more because you're more connected or identified with your mind and your thoughts and your voice in your head. So another really interesting thing that I said about ways to emphasize your form identity or your ego is to give in your opinion when nobody has asked for it. You know what? Even just giving your opinion. How many times, Fabio, have I gave my opinion? Like, why? Why? There's no reason. People can take care of themselves. They don't need my advice, They don't need my opinion on everything, And I suffer more. No, just listen. This was a really hard lesson for me because it's still a challenge for me, Sometimes I have to. I understand this is completely an ego thing. I don't want to give my opinions. I don't want to, and people ask me for my opinions, and sometimes I still don't want to give my opinions because, But really, just to remember, giving your opinion is also an ego thing. If nobody asks you, listen, what do you think about that? Do you think it will help? What do you think? Okay, this is a good way to give your opinion or your advice. But just to, like, when there is a circle of people and you have to put your opinion, I want people to see me. I want to, like, it's an ego thing.
It's not mandatory.
Yeah, and Fabi, you don't do that almost. I never.
Yeah.
You never you never did it. Yeah, you never.
No. Yes, I just if me ask, yes, I give
If they
my
ask,
personal point of view, but yeah, I prefer to don't give if I feel this.
Yeah, I wish.
If is something's passionate me, maybe yes.
If you are passionate about something, you will give opinion.
Yeah, but if is some things about normal stuff, okay, for me, I know.
But Fabi, you said something really interesting. When you're passionate about something, you give your opinions. But this is exactly for me. I give my opinions when I'm passionate about something. So if a person tells me something, that I feel like, wow, I was also like this in the past, but I learned something, and I wish for this person to know this as well, so he can suffer less. Maybe this is done the time, you know. So I wish for myself and for many of those people who listen to this, and also for you, Fabio, to not give their opinions if somebody doesn't want it. You know, when they will ask you, they will be able also to listen to you better, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you give your opinion, 95% of the time I feel they don't listen. They're in their world. Okay. You know, when you don't resist, then the person is so open to you and so open to listen to you. When you just like, okay. For example, you tell him, I don't know, I'm trying to
Yeah,
censor
yeah,
myself.
try.
No, but let's say you come to a person and you tell them, oof, I don't know what to say. I'm scared to say something or will offend someone. But let's say okay, so my point is like this. People are used to their life. Hard for them to go out from their comfort zone. Don't resist it, you know? If you don't resist and you're really peaceful and conscious, they will be really interesting to know what you think, you know? It reminds me of the story when Eckhart Tolle it was 11 p.m. 11 p.m. Yes, 11 p.m. Yes, 11 p.m. And some neighbor, his friend, knock on the door. You have to open the door. You have to open. You don't have any idea. And then she comes and she put all these documents on the floor and she said that they were going to sue me. The manager of the building is going to sue me. They're going to evacuate me. They're going to do this. And she was into the drama, into the madness and their problems and everything. And Eckhart Tolle did not resist. It was just still. He didn't do anything. Just was still. Not a word. And then after a while, she looked at him and she asked him, "This is not important, right? This is, this is not important, right?" And he said, "Right." And then she packed her stuff and she left. And the next day, she told him she had the best night's sleep ever. What did he do to her? Like, she asked him, "What did you do to me?" You know? And he says, "It's not what I did. It's not what I didn't do. I didn't react, you know?" So people, you know, they like to love their food or their stuff, and you come to them with opinions, they will not listen to you. Their ego will be even stronger. But when you don't resist and you just like, okay, and you just do your thing, you know, they will be more curious and they will ask, why do you do that? You know? Why do you eat this kind of food? Why do you walk barefoot? You know, why do you, they will be curious. But if you come to them and you put shoes, it's not good usually. You should be more connected to the earth. Yeah, many people who listen to this probably will also have an issue, but yeah. Okay, we continue. So I'm talking in all these ways, and I think it's so important. This is why I want to read it and talk about it, because I want to remind myself also, okay, not to emphasize my form and identity, which means my ego. Not. I want to be connecting to my inner space, my inner body. I want to suffer less. I really do. Because this voice in the head is too much for me. It really is too much. So another way is to being more concerned with how the other person sees you than with the other person. Which is to say, using other people for egoic reflection or as an ego enhancers. Whoops. So you got it? Sometimes you have a conversation with a person and you just worry about what you're going to say or how you look, Or maybe I should sit still, I should still you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You worry about your looks, about everything. You don't really listen to the other person. You're not really present, So this is also egoic enhancer and emphasize your form identity, Be aware of it.
The identity of your body, you mean?
The identity of your form. Your form. So Fabio, you don't do it. Usually you don't care. You come barefoot, walking with your clothes, shower, not shower. You just,
Yeah.
just like there. Don't think about your looks.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But sometimes
Depends of the vibration of yourself. depends of this.
And why it's different from day X to day Y? Why?
For me, it's the diet. It's
So
also this.
when you eat,
More I am heavy, more I want to take care about what
how you look.
I looks
I got you.
like.
And usually you are more heavy when you eat cooked food.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really easy, actually, kind of easy, just to be present, just to listen to the other person, and really every thought that comes to your mind, just let it go, and don't, sometimes people share with you stuff. This was a big lesson for me. I just realized, like, for years I didn't listen to my friends or even my ex-girlfriends or whatever. I didn't listen to them because when a person shared with me something, usually I was like thinking about what to say next or about my own examples. I wasn't really there, just like as a presence. So Eckhart Tolle gives a good tips about it. He says when you want to really listen to the other person, just be still, connect to your inner body, which is a great tip for me, and I use it. And also, yeah, don't think about your look. Really, if you want to to do a favor to the other person, really, if you care and love the other person, be there totally. Okay? Be there totally. Give the full attention. This is one of the biggest gifts you can give to a person, to a child, to anyone, just to give them the full attention. How precious it is to these days, absolutely, when everybody's attached to their phones and occupied by so many thoughts and their mind.
Give is the best gift you can do.
So funny. If you want friends, be a friend, just be a friend. You don't, just be a friend. Just listen. Just be there. Don't give your opinions. Don't say you should do this. Just be there. And if the person wants advice, he will ask you. Some people have a hard time with silence, I have to say, Fabio. Some people talk to you, and then you just want to listen, and you're really there, and you really have attention. But usually it's more challenging when it's over the phone. People think when you're silent, you don't listen to them. But it's not true. Actually, you listen to them more, But they are used to, as I was used to, people getting into my words, They don't let me even finish a sentence. Fabio, did I listen to you good today?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like I could have done better, but yeah.
Maybe sometimes I can't follow all you said.
You think it's because of the English?
No, I think also, but also sometimes also my mind get distracted.
So there is a good tip for you when your mind gets distracted, because all of us are like this. You're just like, okay, I see you, thank you. I see you, thank you. It's like talking to a person and somebody knocks the door, always, It's okay, I see you later. I see you later. I see you later. It's not easy, okay? It disrupts the consciousness and the presence of this conversation, but it's better than, okay, what do you want? What happened? Well, the other person is still in the conversation with you. What do you need? Okay? No, this is not the time. The best thing that you can give to another person is to be conscious, to be still. And from your stillness and your consciousness, he will discover things by himself, It happened to me with my brother. I remember I have a few brothers, and one of them is very occupied by his mind, and he really doesn't listen so much to others. And it's really hard to even to give him anything, And one time I just came to visit him because he moved to a new apartment, and I wanted to visit him. And I was just standing there, and he had so many issues, and he started to share with me, and so many problems, and I was just still. Didn't give advices, didn't give, just I was there, and he could see that I really listened to him, and I'm really present. And then suddenly while he was talking, hey, he said to me, hey, I can actually do that. That will really help me. And I was so surprised because it came to him just from a calm place, When you don't connect to the phone or to the other so much food or whatever, you just still, just talk. And he came to a solution Just because it's not an ego thing, but because we were silenced together, we were present. Okay, I continue with more ways to emphasize your form identity. So this is similar to the last one, trying to make an impression on others through possessions, knowledge, good looks, status, physical strength, and so on. Yes. Wow. I think
Also, the animal do physical do this.
physical strength
Yeah.
to impress it. No, right, you're right. When they
And
want to
I
attract
don't
a
know.
female,
Yeah.
they
And
do that. That's
I don't
true.
know if it's ego, all ego this.
Oh, that's a good question, Fabio. I don't think they have an ego so much, do they?
No, the animal don't have ego.
Some of them, I think, have. Because, he said it also, Tolle, when you see dogs that lived with people so long, they can also be depressed. They can also have kind of behaviors that the humans have. So he saw it for himself. So he said it. There's some animals who also do like that. And if we see dogs, of course, there's other animals in the nature. But yes,
It's very funny to see this. If you see one dog want to wear some clothes.
yes, the humans put them actually. I think the humans also put clothes, maybe
You think it's the madness this if you put clothes in your dog.
Depends, Fabio, because because think about it. Today, you can take a dog to all over the world. So you can take a dog from Israel or Africa, Central Africa. You can take him to Denmark or to Finland. He will freeze. To Germany, he will freeze. So you have to buy him some clothes or stuff. I can understand. Okay, if he goes outside, but he looks strange because what is that? But because dogs, dogs with, that, Fabio, there is dogs that are not, like, there are animals that are not accustomed to winter, to snow, but we have dogs. We will not let them, we will not say goodbye and leave them in other countries. But to make an impression, it's a really good example, and I think everybody can relate to this. But this is really hard for me. I always so I like to shower. I like to put nice clothes, and but it's not from I don't know. It's, you can take care of your body. Eckhart Tolle says it himself. You can take care of your body, and you can appreciate your good looks. Okay, it's fine, but don't attach yourself to it. Don't try to emphasize your ego by that. Don't try to get compliments from people about your looks. And if somebody comes and tells you, "Oh, you're so beautiful. This is such a nice," say, "Thank you," but don't be attached to it. Don't try to
be attached of this
and get your ego by it, because then you will suffer, because eventually you will not look so beautiful. We all rotten. It's a hard word. I don't have another word for. I have to find another word for it in English. But we do every day. Time takes something from us, And I think it's easy to not to make an impression through possessions. This could be.
I think it's good to give a compliment with another person.
About the looks?
Yeah. Like
yes.
Today you looks very good.
Yes. No, today you look very good. Oh wow, you look.
Depends.
No,
yeah,
this not today. Today is like an English. Like what yesterday you looked like a.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's okay if you are conscious.
But it's true, because if yesterday I don't told you today you don't looks very good, and another day I said this because my impression is this. It's true this. But I know the ego works. Why today you said me this? Blah 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 blah, and begin maybe the fight about this stuff.
If the person is not conscious, so he will have a fight. But he can be also very conscious and said, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. I know this is temporary. I know this good looks is just today, maybe tomorrow also, but today I appreciate that. Yeah, and of course you can say to people, if you say it from a deep place, yeah, why not? Yeah, of course. you look so nice today. You look so beautiful. Yeah, of course. Why not?